What is going on with that matter? I remember when this game was all over the place on YouTube trailers and channels that said this was going to be the next big thing in the zombie genre. Kinda like what the day before is at the moment. But then that matter released to the hands of its backers, and not only was it extremely downgraded, but from what they showed, the game had terrible performance, bugs, stuttering, and so on. Just so many problems that people said, you know what, I can't play this properly, I'm done. Dead Matter's closed alpha was a disaster. From the performance to the bugs and the unkept promises, it was nothing like we were promised. I mean, if you do a comparison, it's pretty scary, and I was personally super excited to see this launch because the way this game was being promoted, I thought it was going to be the perfect zombie game. Open world, co-op, city environment, diverse weapons from melee to range, and hordes of undead. But the reality is, this game is in very rough shape. If they continue putting effort into development and keep updating the game, in my opinion it would still take them over 3 years to be anywhere near completion of this game. But I'll be able to judge more of this game once it actually comes out on early access on Steam. So far, the information we have is very limited. The last devlog took place in October of last year, and in that they showed an update to the development progress of the game. Here's what they showed.
Survivors. My name is Anton. I'm a community associate here at QI Games, and I will be hosting today's vlog. It's been a minute since we've done one of these, so let me briefly catch you up to speed on what's been going down in 2022. At the beginning of the year,
the first focus on the devlog presents their new spawn mechanic for the infected, and apart from that they've also added a more advanced zombie AI. And the way it works is, if you shoot a zombie or somehow alert one, that zombie will now alert other nearby zombies, therefore creating a horde. So that's a step in the right direction for sure. But also the zombies actually look realistic now, and not just like some generic NPC model. To be fair, they still need some work, but they at least look like actual zombies now. The playable characters and the maps seem to have received an upgrade as well. The lighting specifically seems to be better than before. It just looks very natural, and I hope they continue grinding on this aspect because as we know, zombie games need the right lighting and tone to set that post-apocalyptic mood so many people prefer. And lastly, towards the end of it, they mentioned that this game is on the road of going to early access. And that will be in June of this year, accessible through Steam. However, this game is still looking very undone, and more than anything, not ready for early access. As far as the alpha looks, I like where they're heading though. The new models, the visuals, structures, and overall environment, they seem to be putting the effort in and have given us an early access release date too. So very soon we will put this to the test. We will find out if this game is truly moving in the right direction or if this is all meaningless talk just to keep deceiving people. Now, the last thing I want to mention is that if you happen to be one of the people interested in this game, here's what the gameplay will be. You can find all of this information on their Steam page. Dead Matter takes place in Alberta, Canada, along all the different spots that entails. But in the early access launch, the main focus will be a location named the town of Dead Man's Flat, which would then be updated throughout the year. Dead Matter features hardcore survival mechanics like looting, a hunger system, thirst, injuries, sickness, and more things that simulate what would happen in real life. The gameplay itself seems to be heavily focused on multiplayer, more specifically PvP. As far as single player, it seems to be another option. The infected will come in hordes, small packs, and singles, and you can either fight them or you can use stealth mechanics to get away unscathed, all up to your playstyle. At last, some of the gameplay elements will also include crafting, vehicles, bases, wildlife, seasons, quests, and more that we will find out as the game progresses. I mean, if they did this from the start and didn't overpromise and just grinded, there wouldn't be so much hate. But these developers overpromised and underdelivered. It is really hard to give them a fair chance, but still, and the developers are promising to come back. So I guess time will tell on how this game is going to do.
Dead Matter is a true sandbox survival horror game. You will fight to survive in a zombie-packed, post-apocalyptic world designed from the bottom up to foster whichever playstyle suits you best. Home to many threats, post-apocalyptic Alberta will throw everything it can at you, from hordes of flesh-crazed undead, to AI trying to make their way through the world, and of course, other players that are doing what they can to survive.